Please welcome our panelist for Crypto at War, inside Ukraine's historic crypto fundraiser.
Welcome, everyone. I am so thrilled to introduce this really, really amazing panel. One of maybe the most important story happening in crypto right now. And we actually have one of our panelists has actually come in from Ukraine for this panel, or for this event rather. And so I'd like to just start with you, Alex. If you could just tell us a little bit about just kind of what is the situation on the ground right now? What is the feeling on the ground? Anything, to give people a better sense of how it's going.
Well, sure. I arrived a couple of days ago, 4 days ago from Ukraine. I live in Kiev, and in Kiev is trying to get back to normal life as far as I see it, but it's still like probably it's on the 30% capacity of what it was before. It's a huge problem with fuel, like it's shortage, and you cannot basically fuel your car, and then this affects economy a lot, because it's not the situation just in Kiev. It's in Ukraine because Russia destroyed almost all the refineries, and they bombing factories, enterprises. So in Kiev it's relatively safe, but there are a couple times a day you still hear air sirens, and you have to go to shelter because you don't really know where they want to strike. And it's truth for the most of the territory of Ukraine. But they're most tough and horrible situation in the east, because there's an actual war zone and people fleeing, and of course our hearts with those people, and we're trying to help refugees. A lot of refugees still coming from the eastern part. Well, it's if I want to keep this brief, but but the mood is like we believe we're going to win. Well, and a lot of Ukrainians, thank you. A lot of Ukrainians feel optimistic about that, and we totally know that strategically Russia is already lost. But so it's just a matter of time, and it's all in the hands of our military right now, and that's why we're saying that it's important to help right now our military force, because if they fail, there won't be need in humanitarian support. So this is where our focus right now. This is where our minds right now of Ukrainian people, I know of the mind of the Ukrainian leaders. I'm sorry, European leaders and U.S. leaders too. So like most of the Ukrainian people turn to volunteers. So there's so much effort going to a focus to help Ukrainian army, and this is connecting us, and we feel more connected than ever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. Quickly, before we just get into a conversation, if everybody could just sort of, Michael, just maybe give an overview of some of the amazing work you've done for crypto fundraising for Ukraine. A lot of people probably already know who you are, but if you could just give a brief overview for those who don't.
Hello, everyone. Mike Chobanyan. I'm the president of Blockchain Association of Ukraine. I'm founder of Ukrainian crypto exchange Kuna, and since the beginning of war, I'm one of the founders and leaders of the Ukrainian crypto fundraiser, the crypto fund, Aid for Ukraine. And we raised around 60 to 70 million, depends on what exchange rate you're looking at. So a lot of that money came from US, so I'm really grateful to all of the people who donated and support our country, and to US people who are paying taxes, and with those taxes they supply everything that is required for my country. So thank you for that. And it's been terrific. It's been terrific to see how we can change the way the war, escalates or de-escalates. We supplied, literally tons, hundreds and tons of vital supplies to our soldiers, to our people. We evacuated a lot of people out of war zone. We delivered a lot of goods like first aid kits, food, petrol, helmets, bulletproof vests, I don't know, supplies for the doctors, you name it. We transferred crypto directly to occupied and cities so that people could exchange it for cash and buy some food and distribute that food among the people who are in need. So a lot of stuff was done, and most of it was done because you people donated. So thank you very much on that. We have a couple of announcements later, but
looking forward to those. But just want to underscore, so what is the total number now? Because we have so many different efforts going on of crypto fundraising to Ukraine. I know it's 135 million or over. What is the actual number? Because that's just like amazing. Like we just need to stop and acknowledge what an amazing historical event this is that, I don't know.
I think it's easier.
It keeps changing, but.
Yes, but I think it's easier to count in crypto assets. So it's 477 bitcoins, almost 10,000 ethers. It's almost 500,000 Polkadot, 2 million USDT, and almost 1.5 million USDC. And I can go on because a lot of communities are helping. Like Hedera donated 1 million. Polkadot, Gavin Wu donated 5 million. Vitalik Buterin, he donated a couple $1 million. And more communities are, well, Algorand is also, which was in the CEO, Stacey was on stage before, they also joined this effort.
And I think what's really important to recognize is it's not just the government aid for Ukraine official wallets, it's also the crypto wallets of the biggest NGOs that are acting in the country, from Save Ukraine to World Central Kitchen, Come Back Alive. A lot of these incredible NGOs have also set up crypto wallets and received funding from people all over the world. There's also been incredible efforts from companies like FTX and Celsius and Kraken, who have directly distributed donations to all of the Ukrainians that are on their platform. So when you look at it all together, out of all of the funds, all of the nonprofit support, the government direct support to the Aid for Ukraine official government wallets, that's hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. In fact, actually, if every Ukrainian decided to go and claim their money from FTX and Celsius, that's billions of dollars. And this money was the first money that actually was able to reach Ukraine right after the invasion. So the day of the invasion already, the Ukraine DAO had already been set up. And so within a few days, over $8 million was raised by Ukraine DAO. And then on Saturday, the 26th, when most banks aren't working around the world, and on Sunday, the next day, when definitely no banks around the world are working, we started to raise for the Aid for Ukraine government wallets over $50 million over the weekend. And by Monday, when the European Union said, hey, we're going to donate 100 million euro, we had already raised 109 million across all of these wallets. And so the crypto community was faster, and better at fundraising than supranational organizations like the European Union. And it took a really long time for big countries like the United States to even make a decision about supporting. And I think that's one of the most important points, is that as a global crypto community, we do not represent a sovereign nation. So it was one of the safest ways to actually not escalate the tensions in the war, but to have all of us from all around the world, companies and individuals, representing ourselves, representing freedom and human rights, and our want to support our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. And we came together to raise this money, which was the first money that was able to be used for medical kits, for bulletproof vests, for food rations for the army. It was absolutely incredible to see.
Illia, I'd love to hear a little bit about your effort. You have a kind of your own effort. And,
yeah, I mean, like, kind of starting from the first days, right? The first thing was, I'm like, what can I donate with crypto? That was Come Back Alive, actually. That was the only thing on the first hour when I heard of it. That was the only thing, and I sent all my Bitcoins there. And then it was like, well, there's obviously a lot of wealth that, you know, and a lot of help we can do. And so that's, yeah, a whole team of crypto entrepreneurs from Ukraine came together to start Unchained Fund. And the idea there was to go directly, because we have friends in all of the cities. We have people who are on the ground distributing food, distributing gas, like they were kind of doing all the humanitarian side. Because at least first days I was like, okay, well, government will handle the military part, but you know, there will be a lot of refugees, there will be a lot of people displaced from homes. What can we do? What can we help there. And so that's what, we raised $10 million. We've kind of worked with over 5,000 volunteers on the ground. We built like a whole network. It was a lot of, ways to manage that. And then really trying to kind of deliver help as well as, coordinate all that and use blockchain as a way to kind of coordinate, fund, and also communicate back what's happening on the cities, right? In Kharkiv, in Mariupol, etc., when it was possible. So yeah, I think I can just only second that it was the fastest way and it was the most direct help you can have, where you can literally see the transaction going, like from the wallet then to another person who then goes and potentially buys something in store, or maybe cashes out to buy it locally. But kind of it allowed to kind of have this multiplier effect really quickly, which if we're talking about government processes, right, or even NGOs, for like the traditional NGOs that don't use crypto, like they were so much slower to react. There was so much, their overhead is over 50% sometimes, and so like kind of going around that, and they didn't have actually people on the ground, right? A lot of NGOs like Red Cross and others, like for outside of Ukraine, did not have people on the ground. They could not actually quickly deploy help. And they needed to build all this kind of, where do we get our house? Where do we get drivers, right? All that, we had people just coming to us saying like, hey, I want to help. Like, okay, we need a driver from here to there. Like, and actually at some point I was talking with Minister of Digital Transformation, and I was asked like, why are we doing this? And the answer was decentralization. It's actually having a decentralized efforts that were helping around Ukraine was actually the safest way as well, because nobody had information anywhere on like a coordinated effort, and so you cannot actually attack that as well. And so
yeah, that's so amazing that it worked out, because decentralization, as you know, can be challenging, right? So were there any pain points around decentralization where people weren't coordinated, or like the funding didn't go where it was supposed to go? Did you have anything like that happen?
Yeah, so we end up building a very like robust KYC system, proof of location, kind of verification, because we did sadly had people who were trying to scam, who were trying to kind of attack this like volunteer network from different directions. And so that definitely was one of the challenges, just like reputation of people. There was actually some people like who stole money, and we have multiple actually open cases from Unchained Fund. And so like that was definitely challenging. And I think like reputation in general will be like a huge topic kind of going forward, like how do we build a better reputation system.
And for the most part, was the sort of coordination between like the government and the just individuals, did that go relatively smoothly, or were there some pain points there?
Well, I don't think there was any coordination apart from Ministry of Digital Transformation, to be honest. It was a mess, especially in the first few days of the war.
I would say that we were this conduit between other ministries. Like, obviously, Ministry of Defense was issuing needs that they need to supply on the field. Ministry of Health, they were more about drugs and medicine, and of course they're not connected to the community. So we were taking all of this communications to ourselves, and then we're talking to communities like Mir, like Kuna, like others, and so for them, it should have been easier to understand what government needs.
Yeah.
So I think one important part of this story here for people who aren't familiar is that even before this, Ukraine was one of the most advanced countries in the world for crypto, right? So that seems like kind of an important part of this story, because not only is this the first time in history we've had this sort of war fundraising effort that has had such a big crypto component, I think there's a reason why it was Ukraine that also, was the one to be the pioneer in this.
Absolutely. I just have to recount a little something that just happened in Davos a few weeks ago, where the DIA summit run by the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine in Davos had most of the digital ministers from every country in Europe, also including the Prime Minister of Estonia, widely known as the most digitally forward country in the EU. And everyone there basically said, since you guys started the digital ministry at the end of 2019, you guys have been the leader in digital for everyone to basically follow your playbook. So it was every minister of digital from across Europe, the prime minister of Estonia, all saying that what Alex and his team have done at the digital ministry is world leading, not just something that came up because of the war. This is something they've been working on for so many years, and it's been mind-blowing.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one question is, I remember when the Ukraine crypto fundraising started, Michael, I remember you were tweeting updates, like we raised this much, and I was watching it like with, and I was retweeting it, and everyone was like, oh my God, they just passed this landmark. I mean, now that the war has been going on for a while, are you still seeing that same enthusiasm from the crypto community, or have people has enthusiasm ebbed a little bit? I mean, you're still seeing that same level of passion for crypto donations?
Well, I can say that it changed, it transformed. So obviously people are very tired of the war, not just inside of Ukraine, outside of Ukraine as well. So that's why right now we're in the second stage. So as Alex said, I totally agree with his point. So for us, the question about the war is not if, it's when. And we have to think ahead what's going to happen after the war. So now we have to make sure that we support the army to speed up the war, the end of the war and the peace, so we can save as many lives as possible. And with crypto, we're already saving lives. And the second, what we're going to do after the war, because right now, like half of the country is completely destroyed, like nothing, only ruins. You watch the Armageddon, it's like what happens after Armageddon. So we have nothing to lose, but we have like for example, 3 of us Ukrainians, in our pocket we have digital passport, digital driving license, the registration for all my cars, insurance, tax number, what else we have there? My
birth certificate for the
birth
kids.
certificate for the baby. It's all in my phone, and it's
pay taxes on the phone.
It's 100% equal to the paper document. So it's already digital. You don't have that in US. So when I used to travel in Ukraine, all I had to do is take my phone with me. That's it. You can pay with your phone, you can show your passport, you can show your driving license, everything. So it's already digitalized. So we're ahead of the world already. So what's next? But it's all centralized. So the next step, obviously, and we're on the blockchain conference with the Web3 everywhere. So obviously we're going to have to decentralize this system and make it more robust to like for example, even war. So like in the first days, some of the services had to be shut down because we had fears that the Russians could occupy some of the data centers and they can steal this information. Now it's already, the architecture has been changed, so now it's more robust, but the next step obviously would be the Web3. The second thing which is happening right now, just to understand, so for you to understand what's happening in Ukraine, it's not just Russia invading Ukraine. It's not about that. I mean, it's obvious if you watch the TV, but if you look deeper what's happening, so the Putin's regime, he is trying to kill the cultural heritage of Ukraine by destroying the history, by destroying the culture, by destroying all the heritage that we had for thousands of years. He's going to wipe out the memory of Ukrainians. And if you wipe out of the memory the newborns, they'll be just, zombies. So you can put propaganda in their head and they'll be 100%, robots of the new regime. So that's what he's trying to do. The good example, Kiev Rus. This is where all the Slavic countries started. So if you Google it and you open up Wikipedia in Russian and Wikipedia in Ukrainian, you will see totally different descriptions. So in Ukrainian version, it says that this was the heart of the Slavic countries. This is where the Russia started. In Russian version, you're going to see no mention of Ukraine, no mention of Kiev, and the mentions of, something happened before, but that doesn't matter. Look what's happening now. That's what they're trying to do. This is a very good example how they're trying to erase the memory. So one of the projects that we announced in the morning, we're going to digitize the cultural heritage. So we're going to scan. So right now they're bombing museums, they're bombing churches, they're bombing basically everything which is cultural. So what we're going to do, we're going to digitize that, by digitizing, we're going to have at least the 3D, 2D, I don't know, wherever, 4D pictures, scans of like statues, of the art paintings, of churches, of everything which is cultural to Ukraine. And second thing, obviously we're going to NFT it. The reason why we need NFT for that, not to sell, it's a transparent database of everything that we as the Ukrainians own. So right now, I have no clue what is stored in one of the museums in center of Kyiv. I just have no clue. I'm going to have to go to the museum physically and ask him, can you show me what you have? I bet it happens here in the US as well. So you have to actually physically go through data. So by digitizing and putting on the blockchain, we have a proof that at a certain time, there was a painting painted by the certain Ukrainian artist. It was stored in a certain place. And here's an NFT of that, proof that it existed. And prove that it's still there. So no government official will be able to steal it because we have NFT proof on the blockchain that it existed. I think it's really cool. And the second, yeah, we're going to Art Basel. Our team is going to Art Basel. This is like the biggest art event of the world, which is happening day after tomorrow, on Monday. So our team is going there. We have already partners who are willing to participate in this project. So it will be big news. We're still deciding on the blockchain projects. Obviously, we propose to Nir because they're Ukrainian and he's near me. So yeah, these slots are obviously open. We need a lot of blockchains for NFTs. And the second way, if we could put on the screen to answer your question, how we can continue with the hype. Can you put it on the not this one, the picture with the Humvee? Yeah, here we go. So, the problem. Every day, Ukraine loses 50 to 100 4x4 vehicles, which are used by army, by border control, or humanitarian aid. So obviously, because of the war, the roads are destroyed. So you have to go through the field. So if you want to evacuate someone from the distant village, you have to use one of these 4x4s. And closer to the winter, you understand there will be mud, there will be snow, so only by 4x4. And they're being destroyed like regularly. So we need a lot of them. And here's what we propose. So we're going to buy, well, first of all, you can donate a 4x4. If it's a Humvee and it's armored, it's fantastic. If it's just 4x4, it's okay. You're going to have a message that you can put to the Russian soldiers or to the world. You see those two places on the doors? So you can write anything. You can put your logo. You can send a message to Russian soldiers. You can send a message to Ukrainian people. I don't know. You can put swear words. You can put, I don't know, wherever, encrypted messages. You can do anything. And it will be in Ukraine. And the second thing, to answer your question, how we can keep up the hype, you have to be really creative. So if you do donation of 10 of them, you will be invited to Ukraine, where you'll be picked up on the border of Ukraine in one of the cars that you donated. You'll be escorted together with the military personnel. We're going to give you the helmet, the bulletproof vest. We're going to take you to Kyiv. We're going to take you to the outside of the Kyiv to show what the destruction the Russia left there. Like, they murdered thousands of people. They destroyed everything. So I'm going to show you how they destroyed the heritage. You're going to be escorted there. You'll probably meet with the Alex there, and I'm sure he's going to organize even higher level official meetings with the Ukrainian government.
No problem.
You're going to meet with the community, yeah. And so this is like the stuff that we're creating now, and we have Nathan here in the room, the Austin guy who's going to help us with this project.
Keep your hand up.
Yeah, keep your hand up.
Yeah.
So, apart from just helping Ukraine, we're going to also start the economy in Austin, because we need to fix these cars. They have to be cheap. We have to fix them, we have to repaint them, and this will be done in Austin. So, you know, we're trying to help the community here, community in Ukraine. And
so if you guys have not yet given, please take out your phones. If you have given, give again. Take out your phones and scan this QR code. You can now give in 15 cryptocurrencies officially to the Aid for Ukraine campaign, and more of them will be added over the coming weeks and months. But I'm sure everyone here owns at least one of those 15 crypto, if not all 15 of those cryptos. So take out your phones, make sure to scan that, give as much as you can. Every single Bitcoin, Ether, Tether, near everything saves lives, guys. So
thank you. That's amazing. That's amazing stuff that you guys are doing. Alex, I just want to make sure you have a chance to say a couple more words before we end. Given that Ukraine was already one of the leaders in blockchain technology, what do you see after this is over? Because you said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. What do you see Ukraine looking like, and how do you see kind of like crypto fitting into just the landscape? Do you think it's going to be? I mean, I'm just curious what your future vision is.
Well, the whole thing with crypto started not after the war. So 2 years ago, we said as a government that our one of the top priority of the ministry and the government, of course, is to make crypto and virtual assets in general legal in Ukraine. And we have a vision to make Ukraine one of the top jurisdictions for crypto companies, to make them work with the banking system of Ukraine. So basically, all the business that doing crypto and Web3 projects are welcome in Ukraine, and we're going to provide all the support and all the legislative support, any type of, I don't know, even customer support, whatever, for business to feel comfortable in Ukraine. So we totally resumed this campaign, and now we're doing legislative changes in order to meet, even in times of war, while under fire, while rockets are flying, we're still working on making legislation of crypto. And once the war over, we welcome all the business, all the crypto companies to start business in Ukraine, to help us, not just by donations, but having your business and pay taxes in Ukraine. So this way you can also support. I mean, once the war is over. Thank you.
Yeah, huge opportunity to come and help rebuild, invest, and actually benefit. I mean, like from the growth of the economy that will happen right after the war stops. So
yeah, I think that's super important to note to everyone that it doesn't just have to be a donation. We are raising at least an $800 million crypto fund to invest in the reconstruction and development of Ukraine, specifically in the technology sector where Ukraine is a world leader. So you can get involved as an investor. That is totally cool. In the meantime, please do donate. But once that investment fund is launched, we welcome all of you guys to participate in the success of the growth of the country.
Well, thank you. This was really amazing. This is really doing amazing work. And I think this is so important, when people say, like, what is crypto actually used for? Well, what is the point of crypto? It's just speculation. Like, this panel should be proof that this is actually being used in a historic and really pioneering way. I don't know if anyone has any really quick thing they want to say in the last 20 seconds.
Guys, Ukraine is a Web3 country. That's it. That's all you have to know. You know why? We have nothing to lose now. It's all been destroyed already. So instead of, building up something old, let's build something new, Web3. So it's a great country, as Alex said, to build your projects in Ukraine and have access to 40 million people who already have smartphones and their documents in there. It's a digital country already.
Many have already crypto wallets. Many already know what crypto and used it. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you all so much. Thank you.